extraordinary, dynamic, unbelievable extracurricular resume to get into college. It's not true. It is not factually accurate. When I look at this chart, I'll tell you how I interpret it. You have your 4 critical ones at the top, because if you look at this, grades in all courses 46%, the essay at 27. There's a 20-point gap between number 4 and number 5. So I basically say, guess what? Here's your objective criteria. Grades in college prep classes, the strength of your curriculum, standardized test scores, grades in all classes. That's your objective criteria. And everything else, here down, I call subjective or a tiebreaker. So if all this academic stuff up here at the top is even, then we might think about looking at extracurricular activities. Okay? Does that make sense? So, if you have a 3.5 and a 1300 here with no extracurricular activities, and a 2.5 with a 950 SAT, and a dynamite extracurricular resume, 99% of all colleges are taking this person. Yes?
Why are AP scores so low on that?
When do you take the AP exam? Someone tell me. May. You know what happens on May 1st? Every student has already decided where they're going off to school.
But they take it sophomore year also and junior year.
We are far, far, far more interested. Ready? Right here. Look at that. Strength of curriculum. Way more than, and that's a subject test score or AP and IB. So it'd be like an SAT or an AP World History, far, far lower down the scale. We are far more interested in whether you took it and whether you have the moxie to take the more rigorous curriculum than what you did on a 3-hour test on a Tuesday morning in May. Fact. That's a good question. We're going to talk about that. Okay? Yes?
When you say extracurricular activities, let's say someone wants to go to computer science, and you don't care if they take martial arts, whatever. But let's say he's already in the app store, he has his own business, he wrote 20 apps, things like that, that applies to what he wants to be.
And a place that would care about computer science, they care about that a lot. Absolutely. Okay. We're going to keep moving. If you have questions, I'll hang around for a couple minutes afterwards. Feel free to come on up and shoot them by me, okay? We're going to talk about test scores a little bit. But I promised that I would talk about demonstrated interest for just 2 seconds. Okay? Imagine me working at Kalamazoo College in Michigan, where I worked for 10 years. I love that place. Okay? And we have 2 applicants. One from Kalamazoo Central High School, and by the way, can you name the most famous Kalamazoo Central High School graduate ever? Just retired, number 2, the captain for the most hated New York Yankees, Derek Jeter. By the way, everyone in Kalamazoo, Michigan either was best friends with Derek Jeter growing up or went to the prom with Derek Jeter. I met like 19 women who went to the prom with Derek Jeter. Okay, I'm just saying. But anyway, just say we have an applicant from Kalamazoo Central High School who's got a 3.5 and a 1300, okay, has not visited campus. Now I have a student from Bainbridge Island, Washington, with a 3.5 and a 1300, has not visited campus. I have 1 spot left in my class. Who am I going to offer admission to? Washington. And why? Because if this chump, and by the way, I've driven from Kalamazoo College to Kalamazoo Central High School. It's about 8 minutes. There might be 3 traffic lights. If that guy doesn't care enough about Kalamazoo College to drive down the street and at least visit us, how interested is he really? Versus this guy at Bainbridge Island, Washington, he doesn't have the opportunity. I mean, it's not like he's going to spend $600 just on a whim. He's going to wait until he gets admitted. So demonstrated interest. If you are interested in school X, Y, or Z, sometimes it works in your advantage to demonstrate that. So visit almost every college does. Go see them at a college fair, go see them at a high school visit, etc. Okay, quick question?
Well, are you saying that that's the same between like a small liberal arts college and a larger university like Virginia Tech where
I would say so. Yeah.
applications are?
Yeah. I mean, it's probably going to carry more weight at a small liberal arts college. Probably. But I think it's a factor in a lot of places. Again, it's not a huge factor. I just wanted to make sure that I demonstrated what demonstrated interest was. Okay? So, objective criteria, academic course selection to grades 9, 10, 11, and we can add 12 to that. Okay? And then, we got to talk about test scores for 2 seconds. We've been dancing around this topic of SAT and ACT all night. Let's talk about it right here, right now. Okay? How many people are excited to take the SAT? Come on. Really? Why not? Why? If we're not excited, how do we feel about the SAT? Please tell me. Come on. I already know it. You can just share it. How do we feel about the SAT? Please tell me. It's going to be a long night unless someone says something.
Not that bad.
Frightening. Pardon?
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. I like that. Good attitude. What else? Pardon? Marked for life. That's a really good comment because we're gonna touch on that. So let's talk about the SAT and ACT for 5 seconds. What day of the week is the SAT offered? Saturday. And how early in the morning is it offered? Really early. Okay. What do you take with you as a writing utensil to the SAT? Pencil. Whoa, not any pencil. You gotta take. I can't wait to see what happens when someone tries to show up to the SAT with a number 1 or number 3 pencil. Because I swear they have a SWAT team on standby to take that guy down. Okay? Now, what do you do with your number 2 pencil all Saturday morning? Fill in the bubbles. Okay? Let's take a step back. Let's look at this. Ready? Grades in college prep classes at 83%, admission test scores at 59. That's almost a 25-point gap between what you're doing here Monday through Friday in the classroom at Herndon High School versus what you did on some random Saturday morning with a number 2 pencil filling in bubbles. My advice to students is never, ever, ever let a 4-hour time period on a Saturday morning quantify who you are as a student. Guilford College, we are, as part of our admission process, totally test optional. So if you don't like your SAT scores, we don't even care. We don't see them. We don't need them. All I need to see are 2 pieces of writing. One we hope is a graded paper from high school. So if you hate your test scores, we don't care. And there are lots and lots of schools that follow the same policy. There's a website called www.fairtest.org. You can find a whole list of test optional institutions. Okay? And, sir, I'm going to call you out a little bit. Ready? The comment, marked for life. Okay? To make the final point about SAT or ACT scores, please raise your hand if you've ever seen this. Once you get past this intimidating, stupid, crazy, confusing college admission process, once you're past that, these test scores do not matter at all in life. Because I tell you what, I have not even met someone who introduced himself to me but said, "Hi, I'm Andy Strickler, 760 math, 680 verbal." I mean, it doesn't matter. Okay? So please, do not stress too much about test scores. I consider them, for some places, a necessary evil. But if you don't like your test scores, you can find a lot of really good colleges that do not require them as part of their process. More objective criteria, overall performance, your senior courses in progress. And then we hit a key sort of fork in the road, shall we say, with that final bullet point, which is the volume of applications that an institution receives. Because this is the point in time where you lose all control. Because up until this point, we've talked about a lot of stuff that we have control over. You can control the kind of classes you take. You can control how much you study. You can largely control the kind of grades you get. You can even control how your SAT scores look to a particular school. Because you can apply to a school where your SAT scores look great. But once you apply to a school, you have zero control over how many other students also are applying. The example I use is the University of Virginia. Okay, if you decide UVA is the perfect school for you, that's awesome. But you have no control over how many other students in the United States also decided that UVA is the perfect school for them. And this is where you need to own that decision. Opting in or opting out of a highly selective college environment. If your college list is Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, MIT, I need another highly selective. I only know 5 highly selective schools. Penn, West Philly. I got to go with, West Philly here. If those are your 6 schools, you need to understand that you have opted into a highly selective environment. And it might behoove you to try some highly selective and some not so highly selective to sort of balance your chances out. Subjective criteria, extracurricular activities, a real quick point on that. You do not want to feel like you need to create this super long laundry list of 42 activities. The best looking extracurricular resumes are those students who have found those 2 or 3 things, do them with some depth and engagement and passion, and might have an accomplishment or 2 that are part of them. I hate to toot my own horn, but my extracurricular resume out of high school, now that I've gone through this process almost 20 times, looks really good. I ran cross country all 4 years. I ran track all 4 years. Team captain, all conference. Team captain. I was a Boy Scout. I became an Eagle Scout. I did 3 things. I did them all 4 years, and I had a couple of accomplishments that were in them. Boom, that's all you need. So don't feel like you need to create this list of 60 things. Find the things you're passionate about, go do them. That's what looks best. Okay, got to talk about the essay for 2 seconds. Ready? Because you write your essay, you spell check it, and then you send it in, right? Come on, help me out here. Come on. Someone's shaking their head up there. Why not? Why not just spell check it and then send it in?
That's my reviewing.
Have to review it. Who should review it? Teacher? Okay. Counselor? Why is spell check not infallible? What things could go wrong with spell check? Please tell me.
Microsoft can't spell.
That's correct. They probably threw some spelling bugs in there, so you have to upgrade. It doesn't catch word choice. Your. There. Okay, by the way, those things drive me crazy. Okay? Also, here's a real live example. I write a lot of emails every day. I try to type fast. Every once in a while, the word as. Yeah, so it's laughing over there. He gets an extra S. Okay, you don't want that word appearing in your college essay. Okay, so couple hints. Here comes Andy hint number 3. Okay, well that's coming up in a second. Have someone else read it. Proofread it yourself. And this is what I tell my first year students in my first year seminar at Guilford. If you really want it to sound great, print it out and read it aloud to someone else. Force yourself to slow down and enunciate every word. Okay? Here's Andy hint number 3.